What's good, everyone? I'm back at it live. And for those of you who joined me yesterday, which would have been last night for me, or earlier, I guess would be earlier in the day for you, I appreciate it. So I figured, why not do a quick little follow-up for those people that are still awake and still on YouTube, and talk a little bit more about this whole Wilder Fury fiasco. You see the title of the live stream. Is Fury scared, or is he really sick? So that's the question that I feel that is really going around, and I just wanted to hear everyone's thoughts about that. Now, if you joined me earlier today, we went on live for about 2 hours. We talked about a lot of different things, and for me, I'm just really pressed right now, and I normally don't like to accuse a man in general, especially a boxer, a modern day gladiator, of being scared, being a coward, trying to duck, trying to run. But like I said, man, I'm really pressed right now to really lean towards Fury trying to get out of this fight. And as we discussed quite a lot yesterday, or excuse me, earlier today, I feel like there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. There's no clarification. There's no clarity as to how he got it, why he got it, how a multi-million-dollar heavyweight championship trilogy fight was jeopardized. And as far as I know, I checked recently. I haven't seen any updates from the Fury camp on what has happened. I haven't seen anything from Top Rank. I haven't seen anything from Bob Arum. And boxing fans are just kind of left in the dark. And here we are waiting and listening and trying to make sense of how this could happen. Now, imagine if you're one of the people that spent hundreds, if maybe thousands of dollars to attend this fight, plane tickets, hotel, and then the tickets to watch the fight themselves. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling that this is allowed to happen. Now, let's play devil's advocate for a moment. Let's assume that Fury does in fact have COVID, and he's really sick, and the fight was forced to be called off. I put into question a few things. Number one being, normally when a professional athlete, in most professional sports, basketball, baseball, football, whatever it may be, the window of time for, especially an athlete, to get COVID is usually about 14 to 21 days maximum. I say 10 to 21 days, right? That's usually the window. So playing devil's advocate here and assuming that he does indeed have COVID, it's not a hoax. It's not lies. It's real. Okay. And I'm assuming that because, as I said, there's no clarity other than foggy, murky sources coming through saying that him and people in his camp got COVID. But continuing to play devil's advocate, my question is, why is the fight being conveniently, air quotes, pushed back to possibly all the way till October? Now, a few people mentioned earlier today when I went live that it would be in September, but nonetheless, why is it taking that long? Then the rumors come out that he's jumping on a plane to go back to the UK, which doesn't make sense because if you're positive for COVID, shouldn't you be in self-quarantine, isolation? So if you're a Fury fan, I would like your opinion about the fact that if he is indeed infected with COVID, why are they making this big window of 2-3 months when, as I said earlier, typically it's no more than 20 days? Now, I wouldn't necessarily, well, I would mind, but I would accept it more if they came out and said, hey, look, this is what's happened, and there's nothing we could have done to avoid it. He's got COVID. We're going to have to push the fight back 30 days. Let's just say 30 days. August 24th. Shitty. Sucks. But at least him and his team comes out and puts their hands up and say, hey, look, COVID got me, but I'm still wanting to take this fight. I'm still in good shape. It's going to make my training a little bit more difficult, but we're going to make it happen. I just need 30 days to recover and get back to it. The only sensible, logical reason would be he is indeed sick. I mean, Fury fans and the Fury people have to come out and say he's indeed sick. Like, he's really sick. And they're not certain that he's going to be able to bounce back in 30 days. He's going to need more time to not only recover from COVID, but also to get back into his training regime. So once again, this is how I work here on Divine Sense Boxing is always try to look at both sides, try to be unbiased, play devil's advocate, and see what we can come up with. So Deshaun, he says he's scared. Rodriguez says he's scared. Drake Lemonade just came in. Is it officially postponed? Yeah, I believe it is. It seems quite certain that it's been postponed. Right now, they don't know. I don't think there's a concrete date. As I mentioned earlier, if you just joined this live stream, that they're looking at possibly September or even October. And yeah, so the July 24th date seems to have been canceled, according to ESPN and most, big boxing sources. Even though Wilder hasn't said anything, I mentioned when I went live earlier today, I said that I think that Wilder is being silent for a reason, because he's probably pretty upset. I would be too. The amount of training, the amount of time that he's put in the past year, basically. That's how long he's waited to get his retribution. All the drama, all the turmoil he had to go through with the arbitration, going to court, the stress, having to live with the defeat that he suffered in the second fight. All that shit he had to deal with. And now this. I mean, what is the man going to say? And his team has probably advised him to not say anything because, he will be pinpointed as the villain. He doesn't care about COVID. He doesn't care about people who have suffered from COVID. Deontay doesn't care about the people that have died from COVID. The media will fucking switch that shit quick. So that's probably why he isn't saying anything. But once again, I find it ironic how even Fury himself, I mean, at the end of the day, Deontay doesn't have to say anything. He's been training and he's ready for the fight. It has to be Fury. Fury has to be the one to come out. And the thing is, whether he has COVID or not, it's a bit hypocritical for a man to constantly preach about like Wilder not being a man. Wilder can't accept his defeat. He's a sore loser, etc., etc. All that shit he talked. When those allegations were coming up, the gloves, the throwing in the towel, the spiked water, all that crazy shit, right? Wilder was accusing Wilder for not being a man. So 4 hours now since this news has leaked, and I don't hear a fucking peep. Kenneth Perry, what's up, bro? I think you were on earlier today. Welcome back. Fury is clearly ducking Wilder the Gypsy King said he still can pull a Houdini, and this is it. After his disastrous sparring sessions, Fury realized that his choices were to get bodied or run. Dante Deshawn says September would be okay, but I feel October is too long. Drake back at it saying he's pissed off a lot of people and cost them billions. People paid for fight tickets, hotels. This dude says he has yeah, it's crazy, man. Kenneth back. He will drop his title before he catches an embarrassment via KO. Fury would never give Wilder his retribution. He already knew he lost at the face-off. All valid points. I feel your guys' emotion. I feel your guys' energy in the comment section, man. I feel you 100%. You know, you guys, I'm guessing you guys are all subscribers of mine, and I appreciate it. You guys know that I made videos about this. The very first video that I made about it, titled Wilder Will Smash Fury, I think it's sitting at about 20,000 views right now, and God only knows how many comments. The amount of hate that I got in the comment section from Wilder from Fury fans, excuse me, and UK fans in general was astounding. They came full force, like a wave. And here we are. I've been live twice now talking about this. I haven't heard a peep from many Fury fans. The 2 times I went live, earlier today and now tonight. So I guess what it comes down to is, I guess they had nothing to say. I mean, how do you defend this? But somebody's got to say something. I need to hear some shit. I need to hear something. It's crazy though, right? Because I make a video and how I conduct my live stuff. But normally I just make videos and post it, right? I don't think about the possibility of people getting upset because I don't really care, right? I just speak from the heart. And people were calling me, oh, here comes another Wilder fanboy. A couple of people even had the audacity, and this is one thing I wanted to talk about in this stream. A couple people had the audacity to say, oh, here comes another self-hating white man because he's going for a black man or some shit like that. I'm like, really? This is what it's come down to now. Can't even give an honest opinion about a fighter that I like, who I think is going to win. Black, white, yellow, green, purple. I don't give a flying monkey's ass. I talk about fighters who, you know, first off, who I'm fans of. And when I give predictions off of what I see. Simple as that. I don't know why it's so complicated. And I feel like when you have to resort by building your case through race, you already lost, man. Because obviously you can't talk boxing. And I'm tired of this, oh, Fury just has too much of a high boxing IQ, bruh. It's too high. It's too, you know, so many people also commented that Wilder lost 18 rounds or some shit. He only won 1 round out of 2 fights or something like that. So how do you expect him to come in the 3rd fight and then obviously and suddenly just turn it around? Well, it's easy. I mean, for people who make that type of comment, have no idea of Trilogy fights. They probably never watched any Trilogy fight. They probably never watched any of the Muhammad Ali Fraziers, right? They probably know nothing about Sugar Ray Robinson and Jake LaMotta and Sugar Ray Robinson and Janine Fulmer. Any Trilogy fight where they fought 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 times is never the same. Trilogy fights are never the same. And one thing I didn't mention in my video that I posted was, if you guys go back to the Ali Frazier trilogies, Ali was super confident, right? And Frazier ended up putting Ali on his ass. So confidence don't mean shit. Just because you can whitewash a fighter in one fight. First off, if Fury beat Wilder's ass in the first fight, there would have never been a second fight or a third fight. I mean, I don't know from the first fight if they said, okay, it's a guaranteed 3 fights, but I'm pretty sure, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the first fight happened, it was a draw. People clamored for a rematch. And when they made the rematch, they put in the second fight contract that there's a rematch clause for a third fight. So if that's true, then if Fury beat Wilder's ass in the first fight, we wouldn't even be having this discussion right now. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't. It was a good fight all the way through. It was literally the boxer versus the puncher, which is great for boxing. And what made the fight intriguing was Wilder put Fury on his ass twice and nearly knocked his ass out. And we can debate all day about, was it a long count or whatever, but the fact remains is that he escaped knockout by the skin of his teeth, right? So that's what made the second fight intriguing. Second fight happened. We talked about this earlier today when I went live. A lot of people blame it on you're entitled to your opinion. For me personally, I don't feel like there's enough hard evidence to co-sign those allegations, but I will say that Wilder definitely wasn't himself. Clearly wasn't himself. Extremely small resting time between, I believe it was like the Ortiz fight or something like that. Was constantly in camp, probably dealing with several different injuries, and clearly going through some personal shit. Wasn't himself. When he took off his mask, I remember when he walked into the ring, his eyes looked glossy, didn't look right, looked like he was sick. Legs weren't moving. Even in the first, second round, he wasn't moving like he used to move. Something definitely was going wrong. And I'm not a person who makes excuses normally, but if I were forced to make an excuse, that's for me, that's what it is. It wasn't the Deontay Wilder that I was used to seeing. And so you had a bad night, you had an off night. Even Muhammad Ali had off nights. Great fighters have off nights. And unfortunately for Fury, there's a rematch clause. And this is another thing I want to say to Fury people. You guys get so bent out of shape about Wilder. Wilder ain't shit. Blah, blah, blah. And but your boy didn't even want to fight Wilder in the third fight. As a matter of fact, he tried to pay Wilder to not fight in the third fight. And then the judge said, nah, you got to fight, right? And now 2 weeks away before the fight happens, your boy Fury got COVID. So only a few ways you can look at that. It's either inconvenient or convenient for Fury. Inconvenient meaning try to be nice and say he didn't plan for this to happen. It was an accident, and it's just inconvenient for him and the boxing world that this has happened. Or it's convenient for him to get COVID so he can prolong this third fight. Let me know what you guys think. Write in the comments. Do you think it's inconvenient or convenient? Kenneth Perry just commented, so was Fury vaccinated or not? If he was, then the masses are being shamed. This is such a bummer. Will we ever have a real conclusion? Everyone needed closure but Fury. Yeah, so that was another thing that we discussed earlier today was Is he vaccinated or not? Because his buddy Bob Arum came out and said, "Oh yeah, he's been fully vaccinated. We've taken all of the precautions to make sure that nothing disrupts this fight. This fight is too big." Okay. Now, granted, people can get vaccinated, even fully vaccinated, and still contract COVID. We know this. But we also know that if you have been vaccinated, the symptoms are much, much more milder compared to not being vaccinated. Add that with the fact that his age, number one, and number two, he's supposed to be a world-class athlete. So you're a world-class athlete, you're in your early 30s, you've been fully vaccinated, it ain't going to take you no damn 3 months to recover. How are you going to how do you explain that to me? When Chris Paul for the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference Finals tested positive for COVID, even though he was fully vaccinated, right? And then he came back after 10 days. So explain to me this logic. What's up, Ayo Radio? Thanks for stopping by. So I need to know the answer to that question. So if now they start backpedaling and say, "Oh, well, he's only had one shot," because this is what they do. They'll say, "Oh, he only had one shot," or they'll say, "Oh, we thought he was vaccinated, but I guess he wasn't." And what kind of shit is that? What kind of shit is that? But I promise you, that's what's going to happen, because they now know that they can no longer cover up their bullshit. Because if they come out and say, "Well, he was actually fully vaccinated, but he's got COVID and he's really, 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 really sick," well, that doesn't go along the same lines of everyone else who's been fully vaccinated who hasn't got really sick, a lot of times asymptomatic or extremely mild symptoms. So basically what you're saying is that Tyson Fury is the guinea pig as a world-class athlete to be fully vaccinated and get super sick. He's basically the first one. That's what you're saying. Nitty G says this is a surprise. This is a surprise. There's a reason why Tyson Fury has 0 title defenses. This doesn't surprise me at all. Remember, this is a man who has 0 title defenses. Yeah, and I know, Nitty, you came on earlier today and you kept kind of drilling that point, and I respect that because that's true. The proof is in the pudding, man. AO Radio, they need to send a PBC representative to his camp to actually check to see if he actually has COVID. 100%. 100% AO Radio. Because there's just too much invested in this shit, man. And look, if he has COVID, it is what it is. Millions of people have gotten COVID. We know that no man, no woman can hide from this virus, right? But was he fully vaccinated or not? I want to hear from a doctor on what his symptoms are and how long he thinks it's going to take Fury to recover. I don't want to hear none of this boxing politic bullshit. Oh, he's been fully vaccinated. He's sick, but he's not really sick, but he needs 3 months to recover. That sounds like a cop-out to me. And I'm pretty sure Wilder and his camp and us boxing fans will accept 30 days. We'll take it. We'll say, okay, you got COVID. All right. That's going to set you, it will set your training back. Okay. If you really got COVID, it plays with your mind a little bit. Even if you don't feel sick, it's going to play with your mind. I get that. So really, let's say you take a week off. You know, you can get back to jogging, do your own like isolation type workouts. And then by the 14th day, you should be picking up where you left off. You should get a COVID test to say now that you are now indeed negative. The vaccine has done its job. And by day 14, you're sparring again, right? So you pick up where you left off. That'll push the fight until mid-August. And we would accept that. We would accept that. But I'm not going to let them get away with this 3-month bullshit and the fact that they're not clear about him being vaccinated or not. And I'm not going to accept it. Kenneth Perry says, and I want to see the test. It's too convenient for Fury to catch COVID till close to the fight night. Show me a test. Let me hear from a doctor. Let me hear from a physician. Why are we not hearing anything from Fury's camp, Bob, Arum, anybody, Top Rank, nobody? Why are they disrespecting this man like this, man, Deontay Wilder? Why are they disrespecting him like this, man? This shit pisses me off. It reminds me, I said earlier today on the live stream, this shit reminds me of the Mayweather Pacquiao bullshit, where we clamored for that fight to happen for years and it never happened. It got to the point where people just try to get ready to fight each other. And I feel like this is happening again. Waited over a year for this fight, and we're just fans. We're just fans, eager to witness retribution. But imagine if you're the man himself, Deontay Wilder, man. The disrespect is absolutely astonishing. And if this fight gets pushed back until October, or if the fight doesn't happen, what a travesty for boxing. Seriously, what a disaster. And what a smack in the face to all the great heavyweights who have stepped in the ring before Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. All those great heavyweights who took the risks, who took the trilogy fights, sick, not sick, broken arms, broken hands, broken jaw in sparring. They took the risks. They put it all on the line. And here we go. We got the Gypsy King, y'all. The Gypsy King, supposed to be the greatest heavyweight of all time. We've never seen anybody like the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. Don't ever put his name alongside the greats like Muhammad Ali or any of those great heavyweights in the 70s and the 60s, or even the Joe Louis, the Brown Bombers in the 50s. Don't ever put his name alongside those all-time greats. Shit pisses me off. Nitty G, Tyson Fury and his fans feel whooped. Deontay Wilder, easy. So why not? Tyson Fury and his fans feel that he whooped Deontay Wilder easily. So why not do it again and make a lot of money doing it if it's such an easy fight? I'm just saying. It's so easy, right? Oh, easy work, they said. Easy work, man. We beat his ass. We beat his ass. Wilder didn't have a chance. Because your boy Fury knew that he caught Wilder on a bad night. Ain't no secret. Young Mello, what's up? I had COVID like 2 months ago. I didn't do anything. Everybody's affected by the virus a little bit differently. It becomes a very sensitive topic, and I don't know. I feel like I had it like 10 times, man. I don't even know. I travel a lot, and I don't really get caught up into all the whole fear mongering and stuff like that. But I don't want to make this about COVID. But look, I know people that have have gotten really sick, but for the most part, because what I do for a living is I'm a strength and conditioning coach for athletes. I'm a PT, I'm a gym operator, and I work with athletes and fit people all the time. And I know people that have gotten COVID, and 9 times out of 10, a little bit of a sniffles, a little bit of slight fever, a little body aches, they bounce back about 4 days. Okay, and the reason why I mention that is because Fury's supposed to be a fucking world-class athlete. Fury needs more time to get in shape. Justin Johnson, what's up? Nitty G, I was trying to go to Vegas for the fight, but I could not get that weekend off. But one of my coworkers was going to go, and because of this, he lost $4,000. Hey, hit up Top Rank. Hit up Top Rank. If I put money into this fight and I lost money like that, I'm gonna start hitting up everybody who lost money, and I'm gonna build up a big team, and I'll go to fucking Top Rank and protest that shit. Moped, what's up? I saw you on here earlier today. You're back. What's up? It's all lies. I feel bad for Wilder, man. The disrespect is so serious. Enjoyed the fight altogether. So today, Moped, I wouldn't be surprised if WBC franchise Fury, so he can't lose the title. Can't lose, quote unquote. At this point, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect when it comes to Fury. We mentioned this earlier today when I went live, talking about Bob Arum and Tyson Fury's relationship. What a fucking weird relationship that is. It's been a long time. And I'm talking about like since the Don King in the 90s time, where I've seen a fighter be that awkwardly close to their promoter. It's fucking weird, man. The way they look at each other, like they're staring at each other in the moonlight. Like they've got some special relationship going on, man. And it makes you scratch your head. Fucking Bob Arum is like 120 years old. I don't know how the fuck he's still alive. But isn't that strange, though? That relationship. Christopher, what's up? Fury's scared. This is just a ploy to buy time and throw Wilder off. That's what it's looking like, man. That's what it's looking like. I just get so passionate about boxing, and sometimes it's frustrating, right? Because boxing does have its politics. Boxing does have its drama. And I try my best to avoid it, not think about it, and pretend that it doesn't exist. But this is one of those times, man. But I get so passionate because me being around sports and athletics and in the boxing circles, even a little bit of Muay Thai and MMA, I have so much respect for people, man, who put their life on the line. And I respect the history of the sport back in the days where, you know, as a fighter, you didn't have much choice. They basically said, yo, you can take this fight or you don't get paid. Oh, you hurt your hand? Well, you better double wrap it, you know? And nowadays fighters, they just get away with so much bullshit, man. But I don't feel like Deontay Wilder. Think about Deontay Wilder, just real quick. Something I'm going to mention is, all right, hey, yo, peace out, brother. Think about this, too, about Wilder. Not only is he going through this bullshit right now with Fury, but let's think about all the times where leading up to fights with other fighters where they've tested for PEDs, tested positive for PEDs or steroids. How many times has men tried to duck dodge Wilder? And I find it astounding when Fury fans call Wilder a bum because he hasn't fought anybody. Well, shit. It's kind of hard to fight people when people keep testing positive for PEDs. It's kind of hard to fight people when people are avoiding to fight you. And now your boy Fury is another example of that. The amount of turmoil and drama and disappointment that Wilder has had to go through in his 35 years or his 10 to 15 years of boxing is crazy. But that's what happens when you knock people the fuck out. Imagine the uproar. Imagine the uproar if Wilder knocked Fury out. Imagine the excuses. Imagine the hate. Imagine the despair. Imagine that, though. And that's why there's a little bit of fear in the voices of Tyson Fury fans. Because I drop a video and I'm like, look, Wilder is coming. He's riding the thunderbolt of Zeus. And he's going to bust that ass up. It's not going to be pretty. And Fury fans took it so personal, as if I was talking about their mother. But for me, that just shows fear. They know that the second fight was, their glorious day. UK heavyweight beat an American heavyweight, and the big, strong black man was beaten, and they had their glory time. But they know deep down that you give a man like Wilder a whole year to sleep on this, dream about this, train for this, prepare for this, change his whole life for this, went even as far as getting rid of his old team, bringing a new team in. Meanwhile, Fury just prancing around in his jacket with no undershirt on, prancing around like life's good because I just beat Deontay Wilder. I'm going to go fight Joshua instead. We're going to make this big fight in the UK. Fuck Wilder. But guess what happened? Knock, knock. You signed a contract, big boy. And you can see the irritation when they had the press conferences and when people mentioned to him about having to fight. He said, it's disappointing. It's unfortunate that Wilder couldn't accept his loss and I got to be stuck here and fight him again. But like people just mentioned in the comment section, if it's so easy, then what are you worried about? Get that easy money and go beat him even more clear than you did the second time. And why would you worry about it? Because Wilder literally has zero excuses now. Okay? All the excuses have been laid out on the table. So for you as Tyson Fury, you're like, look, there's nothing stopping us now. And Wilder can't say shit. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to make it even easier than it was the second time. I'm going to knock his ass out. But we may never see it. Not going to lie. I've seen less Fury fanboys the past 2 days since the news came. They've been MIA. Big time. Corey D-Ron, what's up, bro? Wilder gets blamed for everything. Pretty much. Fury has a long history of cheating and dishonesty, yet his fans and the mainstream media will look past everything that he does wrong. Corey D-Ron. Long history of cheating. I'm not sure about what you mean exactly as far as cheating, but he's definitely been caught in a lot of lies, a lot of deception. Nobody wants to talk about the headlocks, the wrestling, the rabbit punches in the second fight. Nobody wants to talk about that. Oh, there's boxing. There's boxing. That's what the Fury fans say. No, boxing is not when you punch somebody in the back of the head. That is not boxing. You're confused. I don't know what you're watching. You're watching some caveman fighting or some shit. But that's not boxing. And the media does kind of portray him as this, I don't know, man, like this great champion, this ambassador of greatness. That's why Wilder haters want to Fury to fight AJ so bad they knew Fury cheated on the third time around. Wilder's coming for blood. Cord, you're on again. According to the arbitration judge, the ruling still stands. Fury must fight Wilder or retire. End of discussion. Yeah, so my question for you guys listening in the live stream right now, and I really want to get you guys' opinion. What's up, Clyde 1804? My question is, do you think that he will indeed still take the fight, rather it's September, October, whatever it may be, or do you think he will retire, possibly vacate the title, and then come back a couple years later and fight Joshua or fight for a vacant title or some shit like that? What do you guys think he's going to do next? Also, what the American media failed to mention is he was suspended for 2 years for popping dirty. Yep. People forget about that. J.D. Walker, the boss talker. Yeah, not sure. Yeah, not just the Wilder fans need to be pissed off, but about this Fury fans need to be pissed off about this. As boxing fans, we wanted to see this fight and him making up all these different excuses. Nitty G, the American media refuses to talk about the fact that he was suspended for 2 years. I just read that. Yeah, that comment was duplicated for some reason. But yeah, I hear you, J.D. Walker. Thanks for stopping by. Big disappointment, as I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining this live stream, big disappointment for the boxing fans. But more so than that, I mean, Deontay Wilder, man. That's who I feel the most sorry for. Feel real bad for him. Last thing I heard from Malik Scott is they're going to keep training. They're not trying to get involved with whatever the rumors are, which I guess is a little bit of a glimmer of hope. Maybe they can fight it, man. Maybe Wilder's team can push back a little bit and say, we ain't going to fight in October. That's bullshit. We ain't going to be fighting in September either. You better make this 30 days. Hopefully they can push back a little bit. But when you're pushing up against Top Rank, that's tough. That's a tough task. But more than likely, if they try to push back about this COVID shit, all Top Rank has to do is bring in a couple doctors that said that, he needs X amount of days. His blood type is this, so COVID's going to affect him like this. Bring in a witness. That's not hard to do. And then they'll fall back on the original ruling, which is they still got to fight or he has to retire. Mopez says Fury also came into the ring with a detached thumb in his glove. You can find the video. Yeah, I've seen it. Clyde, Fury, no, this time. He can't cheat anymore this time. They're going to check his glove. Fury is going to try to avoid it at all costs. The history shows it. The only thing gives us hope is that contract. I think he's going to do the same thing he did with the Klitschko duck. Yeah. Well, look, guys. Earlier today, I went on live for about 2 hours. I'm probably going to keep this rolling for another 15 minutes or so. So just want to let you guys know that you guys see the banner kind of at the bottom of the screen here. That's my Twitter. Give me a follow if you use Twitter because right now I'm on a little vacay, so I can still make videos, like go live and shit like that. But normally I'll be lucky to be able to make one video a week. So I will use Twitter to put some thoughts if there's any new news or whatever have you, or keep you guys updated when I do intend to go live so you guys can catch me. So that's my Twitter. In the meantime, anybody who would like to join me on this broadcast, jump on video or mic to be a part of the conversation, send me a DM and we can make it happen. I'll bring you guys into the studio and we can chop it up. I got a lot of interesting stuff coming up soon. As I mentioned earlier today, I keep saying yesterday because I'm overseas. As I mentioned earlier today when I went live, I got a lot of good videos coming up. I'm going to talk about some all-time greats, talk about the history of the sport, maybe some fantasy matchups. I'm definitely going to go live within the next couple of days and talk about Pacquiao Spence. So a lot of good things coming up, guys. So make sure that you guys like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And share the channel, man. If you guys have some other friends who are boxing fans, who know that they're on YouTube, let's bring them in a part of the conversation. The cool thing about YouTube, what I've noticed, is that there's a lot of different personalities on YouTube talking about boxing, and that's a good thing. So if you're a person who likes just unfiltered, speak from the heart type boxing analysis, then I think this is the place for you. Hawker Mustang. Is that the Hawker Mustang that I remember from 10 years ago? I still think that Tyson Fury will knock Deontay clean out before the end of the year. Yep. A comment like that, that's definitely the Hawker Mustang that I know. Tyson Fury don't have knockout power. Don't worry about Hawker Mustang. He's a legend troll. I'm not going to even block him. He can stay right there. Hawker Mustang and I have a long history going back probably 10 to 12 years. I can probably say he's my arch nemesis. It's like Batman the Joker. Anonymous Soul, what's up? I didn't see you earlier. I don't think you came onto my live stream earlier today, but thanks for dropping by today. I don't think he's that sick. There's a possibility that he does have COVID. I'm not going to refute the possibility, especially right now. A lot of people are getting it, but I think they're making it a lot worse than what it really is. Patrick Starr, what's up? You're back. People saying Fury will knock out Wilder obviously are blinded. Hawker Mustang, Conor McGregor. Yeah, well, I don't typically talk about UFC too much, but I know who Conor McGregor is. What's up, Ray Bans TV? Bomb Squad, baby. Didn't Fury go to the UK? Yeah, which is another interesting thing. You're going to the UK, and you got COVID. I didn't know you can travel when you had COVID. I thought you had to, self-isolate. Fury isn't in shape. He was shook at the press and getting the biz in sparring, had black eyes. He simply was not ready. It's looking that way. It's looking that way, bro. I didn't know what to think at the press conference as far as Fury was concerned. I definitely did think that Deontay looked very motivated, very focused. He was done with words. He was ready to fight. And a lot of people criticized him for wearing headphones and being silent and blah, blah, blah. But I don't blame the man. With the amount of bullshit that he's went through, I don't blame him one bit. Fury, though, I don't know. For me, Fury just looked like Fury. Every time I listen to this dude talk, I think like 80% of what he says is just bravado. It's for clicks. And he just kind of rubs me the wrong way. The whole kind of like, I don't want to say UK banner. I don't want to say it like I dislike UK people because I have friends from the UK, but you guys know what I'm talking about. It's that whole like UK banter and bravado. It just kind of gets old after a while. And it's like, okay, it helps sell the fight. But now the fight's not happening. So all that talk don't mean shit. Respire Fit, what's up? Fury was not ready, bro. Hawker Mustang. Maybe I'm gonna keep calling Hawker. I'm gonna let you speak in the chat just because, as I said, you're my nemesis, arch nemesis, Batman and Robin type shit. But you're not making yourself look very intelligent right now, bro. I have no idea why people act like Wilder's corner didn't throw a towel and laugh out loud. They make it seem like Fury KO'd him to sleep or something. They need to rewatch the fight. They need to rewatch fight 1, round 12. Yeah. Um, I mean, it wasn't looking good for Wilder. Let's just be honest. In the second fight, it wasn't looking good. He didn't seem like he had the power that he usually has. His legs weren't there. Fury was mauling him, mugging him, and just kind of wearing him down even more than what he already was before he even entered the ring, I think. He got away with a lot of rapid punches, headlocks, and things like that, which Fury's known for. But yeah, I mean, technically speaking, he was willing to go out on his shield. And that's one thing that I really do respect from Wilder a lot, is that understanding the amount of bullshit that he was going through, clearly not mentally ready for that fight. We don't know what was really going on behind the scenes. He knew that he didn't have the punching power that he normally has, simply because he hit Fury with a couple clean right hands and Fury ate them pretty well. And so you can kind of see that he was a bit demoralized, but he was willing to die in there, man. Straight up. And you got to give credit where credit is due. It took his trainer to throw in the towel. I mean, even though he didn't really show signs of coming back in the fight. The flesh in his ear was torn from the lopsided gloves that Fury was wearing, but he was bleeding. He was hurt. His legs were weak. So the second fight, it just wasn't his night, and that's fine. All-time greats have bad nights, but it's how they bounce back. You guys need to go back and watch Sugar Ray Robinson versus Gene Fullmer. Gene Fullmer beat Sugar Ray Robinson and fucking shocked the world. Nobody would have thought that some, iron chin, really no athletic ability fighter can beat a guy like Robinson. Robinson came back, though, in the rematch and stomped that ass. Because sometimes that's what happens in boxing. So I'm okay with it in the second fight, in the sense that the third fight is going to happen. So that's the true retribution. He had to, he obviously needed time to clear out whatever was going on with him. He had a very short break between his last fight leading up to the second Fury fight. Training all the time, possibly overtrained. And he thought that he had a snake in the garden. Now, rather, Mark Breland was against him or for him or whatever the case may be, Fury didn't feel right about it. And that could have played with his mind. So he had to reset a lot of things. And sometimes that's what it takes in life, right? You got to reset, refurbish, and get the right mindset. And he had that time to do it. And so that's why the July 24th date was so daunting to Fury, because he knows that this time Wilder had ample time to prepare and to dominate. Patrick Starr, Fury says stuff you cannot trust. Michael steroids. You guys really think he's on roids, man? Anonymous Soul. It's funny how people act like the commission ain't corrupt to happen. Yeah, the main thing that you get from that is people saying like, "Oh, JD is was there watching the hand wraps, and how could it get past him and the boxing commission? How would it even be possible for the gloves to be tampered with?" So that was a statement I just made, but it's actually a question as well. So how do you think it's possible? Again, playing devil's advocate here. How do you think it's possible for the gloves to be tampered with when you have the boxing commission and JD is there watching the hand wrap? What's your guys' response to that? Wilder has KO so many opponents steroid meet in the UK. Well, Wilder knocked Fury out. Wilder knocked Fury out in the first fight. Ref shouldn't. The ref should have just waved it off. Yeah. Normally, normally in that situation, a ref would call that type of knockdown. But to be honest with you, I don't mind what's his name over Kenny Bayless. I just want the truth to come out. Absolutely. Yo, I heard Tyson Fury cheated on camera and people are still defending him. Just rewind the footage. Vinny Paz said Fury's on HGH, human growth hormone. Yeah. So still waiting for somebody to give me their thoughts about the question I just asked, which is when it comes to the glove tampering, how do you think it was possible? How did it get past the boxing commission? How did it get past Jay Diaz? I'm curious. Can Tyson Fury simply do a title defense to prove he's not a fluke, or is he really scared he gave Wilder too much time? WJ Luckett. The boxing commission was also in the dressing room with Antonio Margarito right before the Cotto fight, and who caught that? And we all the commission is with what happened to Wilder. That's a good point about the Margarito Cotto fight. How that got past the commission, I'll never know. All right, guys. So I'm coming up to the last 30 seconds or so. I appreciate you guys spending your night to come on to the stream and to talk boxing with me. And hope to see you guys more often here on the live stream and continue to chop it up and make these conversations happen. You know, when in regards to what's happening right now with Fury Wilder, just lost for words, man. Just really lost for words. I hope that there is a glimmer of hope, a light at the end of the tunnel, that we don't have to wait another 3 months for the sake of boxing, for the sake of Deontay Wilder, for the sake of retribution. I hope that there's a little bit of hope somewhere. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. And once again, if you ever want to join this conversation, just hit me up and I'll bring you guys on. I'd be more than happy to have a co-host. Prince Cobbs, what's up? The Gypsy Queen does it again. Crazy times, guys. Crazy times. All right, guys, it's your boy, Divine. I'll catch you guys on the other side. I'll be here probably maybe tonight my time. So maybe the morning for you guys, I'll come back on here and maybe there'll be more developments from now until then. And if not, maybe I'll just drop a video about, as I mentioned earlier, some all-time greats that I want to talk about and things like that. So make sure you guys click that like button. It really does help out a lot. And I appreciate the comments and the conversation. And I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.